some of us and some of my friends, we found out that at night, they didn't lock the radio station door. So we used to go in there, you know, didn't know what the heck we was doing buttons.
Reckless. All right, I'm hella excited today because our next guest is a man with many hats. Hailing from Staten Island, New York, is a man that's been the face of Laser 101 for the last 20 years. He's the man you start your late morning with and the man you say goodbye to in the early afternoon. Now, he's an MC you should envy, known back in the day to spit a verse, and he's the host with the most, always putting G.O.D. first. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome G Money. What's good with you, my man?
Bro.
Thank you for joining us today. I appreciate your time.
Yeah, man, anytime. I mean, we're in a pandemic, ain't much happening, so.
Right.
You know, I got time, so what's good with you?
Hey, I'm cooling, chilling, really excited about this interview to get to know you a bit better.
All right, no problem.
All right, so let's get straight into it. So G Money was already somebody before he got to St. Maarten. Mm-hmm. And I want to take a stroll down the MC side of G Money. Now, let the people know who were the Elementz of Def back in the day.
Oh, you did your research.
Oh, yeah.
Elementz of Def was a rap group that me and my two other friends, who are actually brothers, Jason and Joaquin, we had a management company called, of course, Trifecta Management. And our first group was called Elementz of Def, or EOD. They were a local rap group from Staten Island, young up-and-coming rappers, and these kids were amazing. You can find some of their music on YouTube. Okay. I still play some of their music in my car. We did a lot of showcases with a lot of hip-hop artists. We've opened up for Notorious Big. We opened up for Smith & Wesson. They was really, really, really good. I actually have a lot of tapes at home here in St. Maarten that I need to transfer over digitally, so I can put them on YouTube and let the rest of the world see it. But we did music videos and on tour in Virginia, DC, just, you know, filming video, crazy stuff. I really want like the rest of the world to see that. But Elementz of Def, shout those guys out. Actually, I saw a lot of them this past year. I went home to a little barbecue reunion in my old neighborhood, and I saw all the guys. It was like really amazing, really amazing.
Man. Yeah, that's awesome to hear. So speaking of Notorious Big, do you remember the moment? Because, you know, when he passed, like, did you remember where you was at the time?
Oh, absolutely.
Tell me about it.
Absolutely. I was actually home sleeping, and a good friend of mine, Jennifer Ortiz, she worked for a management company that used to manage Foxy Brown and other artists, and she called me. Because remember now, when Biggie got shot and he passed away, he was on the West Coast. Right. So the West Coast is 3 hours behind us. So basically, she called me, and she was just hysterically crying. They killed him. They killed him. Like, killed who, Jennifer? Who did they kill? Yeah. And then she said, Biggie. They killed Biggie. I was like, they killed Biggie. She said, you know, she went through this whole thing. So I never forget. I turned on the radio. So I had a radio next to my bed. We all had the old clock radio. Right. So I turned on the clock radio and I put it on the local hip hop station, which was Hot 97. And I'm just waiting for them to say something. Yeah. And they said nothing. Apparently I fell asleep. No, actually I called my good friend. Malcolm, and I told him. He was like, really? I was like, yeah. So I put the radio on, nothing happened. I fell asleep, and then they stopped the music. You know when the music stops, it wakes you up. And then they had the breaking news maybe about 45 minutes, hour later. It was like, yo, Notorious B.I.G. passed away, died, and I was like, oh my God. So I never forget that. I never forget that. Clear as day.
Clear as day in your mind.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Right. All right, so G Money is from Staten Island, right?
Born and raised.
And, okay, so I'm from St. Maarten, raised here, and like, we've learned about hip hop from a distance. Though hip hop is like a world phenomenon and stuff like that, we only got to learn from hip hop like from TV, music, radio, but you lived it, you know? What was it like living in the projects of Staten Island, New York.
And hip hop, the golden age. You know, growing up is when really hip hop really started to get commercial. It was always in the streets,
Right.
you know, New York City, and the guys would come out with their turntables and they'll hook them up to the street lights as you see here. They'll open up the box, hook up the electricity, and they'll have do block parties. And I remember as a kid just standing there watching the DJs going, cutting and scratching, and I didn't know what the heck he was doing, but I was just mesmerized by it as a kid. Fast forward, growing up in junior high school, Sugar Hill Gang came out with the Rapper's Delight, and that was the song that was on the radio every 2 minutes. They sampled Good Times from Chic, and I knew, to this day, I know that song
From
word for word, not the regular version.
The extended.
The extended 15, 18-minute version or whatever it is, and I know it word for word, and it was like, it was incredible. It was incredible growing up and seeing hip hop, you know, going to the record store with your father and just picking out hip hop records. And my first record was Spoonie G. Spoonie G Rapping was the first record. I made my father buy it. I didn't know what it was, but I knew it was a hip hop record. And I made my father buy it for me. And to this day, I still have that record and I still play it. There was even a time I did a remake of it myself. I did change some of the lyrics. I went to the recording studio and did Spoonie G, Spoon and Rap over. But I mean, the golden era of hip hop, man. I've been through it, and then you got the 80s, and you go into the 90s with the Wu-Tang, the Nas, the Mobb Deep, Notorious B.I.G, Wu-Tang.
That was it all, like from conception to what it is now.
Yeah, and that's the golden era, to see where hip hop has started, and now it's everywhere. It's in commercials.
Modern day historian.
Yeah, I guess, yeah, most definitely. You can definitely say that.
Yeah.
You can definitely say that. I lived it. I've been to the parties. I've met some of the biggest names in hip hop, from Notorious to Tupac, to MC Lyte. I just been there, lived it, been to the parties, and you know, it's crazy. And you look back at it now, and that's what I was going back to. What I was saying with the Elements of Def videotapes. I wanna take that and put it digital. And put it on my YouTube page so other people can see. I mean, I have parties with backstage with the Wu-Tang, backstage with Notorious B.I.G. I have all this stuff on VHS tape in my house. And I just want to put it online so people can see it. And I have it. It would be
a treat.
Now,
G, I kind of already have an idea, but where did the name G Money come from?
I actually got the name in college. So I went to college, Morrisville State University. There's a guy from Brownsville. His name is Al. Shout out to my man Al Williams. He's calling Black Al. And Al was a great basketball player. He was from Brownsville, New York. Craziest crossover you've ever seen. But anyway, you know, growing up in college, everybody had a nickname on campus, and he gave me the name G Money. Basically, I was the go-to guy on campus. I did everything. I was hustling. I was the local barber. You needed books. You needed this. You needed that. I was like,
so much sense.
Yeah. So I was the guy on campus that you went to, like, okay, I need this history book. I need this science book. I need a haircut. I need some cigarettes. So I was the guy. And then he just gave me the name. He started calling me G Money. And it just caught on. It just caught on. G Money, G Money. That was his name. So shout out to my man Black Al.
Dope story. In my research on you, right, like I had to contact, you know, your partner in crime, your partner, DJ Outkast.
Oh, that's my dude.
Of course. You're the MC, he's the DJ. Now, I'll give you a more moment, but what do you think is the craziest experience you've ever had on stage with DJ Outkast, either on stage, off stage? Any crazy stories?
Actually, one that comes to mind is right here on this beach. Right here on this beach was Heineken Regatta. When Heineken Regatta did the boardwalk on Fridays, they would have various stages set up all throughout the boardwalk. And one year, we had a stage right down there. And it was the end of the regatta. Like, you know, okay, time's up, everybody performed. And it was just me and Outkast on stage with the promo girls. And we just went in this thing, and I came up with this thing on the flight. Okay, we're on a flight right now, and we're flying Air Heineken. I said, and our first stop is going to be Dominica. And Outkast threw on like 2 or 3 joints from Dominica. Then I was like, okay, from there, we're gonna go to St. Lucia. And then we threw on songs from artists from St. Lucia. And the crowd just went crazy, and the crowd just started, like people who were in the audience, hey, what about Curacao? Hey, I'm from Aruba. All right, we're gonna go to Aruba. and we just rocked for like an hour. Like the sound, I never forget Sound 2000, shout out to Chuchi and Albert. Yeah. They were like breaking down the stage for the next day because they have to move it over to Simpson Bay.
Right.
And we're just rocking, nobody left, and they just sat, and they had to break down the stage and the sound, but they were enjoying it too. They just sat there, and then the promo girls came, then the Captain Morgan promo girls came, then the Heineken promo girls came, and then all of a sudden it became a battle on stage between the Heineken promo girls and the Captain Morgan girls, and Outkast started putting on some dance hall music, and all I gotta say is it just went to a whole nother level with the girls on the head doing splits. It was crazy. I never forget that. But that was one of so many things that we did. We've traveled the world together. We went to Bali. That was an amazing, one of the biggest weddings I've ever seen in my life. It was in Bali, and me and him
flew out.
We flew out, we DJ'd, I MC'd. They had other MCs and other DJs, but we really left a mark. You know, it was like there was this humongous wedding. It was probably one of the most expensive weddings ever that year. It was like over $1 million wedding. It was crazy. And when we finished performing, you know, there's so many people there, and everybody's like, no. But after we finished performing that next day, everybody like in the hotel, on the grounds, the parties, they came in. Oh, you guys were amazing. You guys were amazing. Where you guys from? St. Martin? Oh, I have a cousin from St. Martin. Oh, where you from, St. Martin? Oh, I went to vacation in St. Martin. Oh, I used to own a jewelry store in St. Martin. We're in Bali. And we really that's one thing I love to do is put St. Martin on the map. You know, that's my hometown. This is where my mother's from. Just, you know, I love to represent and put us on the map. And sometimes some people call me a walking ambassador, and I have no problem with that.
Right. So how did G Money get into radio?
Very strange story. I know I never really sometimes in life you never really intend to do what you wanted to do. Like maybe you never really thought you'll be a DJ, but next thing you know, boom, boom, you're doing it.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, so the same thing was with me. But I grew up on radio. Grew up listening to Mr. Magic, growing up to listen to Ed Lover and Dr. Dre in the morning.
Didn't you have a radio show in college?
Yes, I did a little bit of radio in college. I used to sneak down to the radio station. Now, radio broadcasting wasn't my major, but some of us and some of my friends, we found out that at night, they didn't lock the radio station door. So we used to go in there, you know, didn't know what the heck we was doing buttons. Right. And basically, we would go down there some nights and, you know, and call people on campus, yo, we're on radio. And people would call us and request songs, and we would say,
that's dope.
Yeah, so this like, you know, like 12, 1 o'clock in the morning, we're on the campus radio, not supposed to be in the building downstairs, and we're sending out songs, we're doing this, we're doing that. It was crazy.
And you took that experience and you used it.
Right, so it was a little bit of experience, and then, of course, when I got here to St. Martin, because like I said, my parents and my mother's from here, and when I moved here to come back to relocate, I actually went for an interview at Laser 101. They had an opening.
Okay.
And AT&T Kid was the DJ at the time. We worked at Laser 101. And basically, we contacted somehow, and he was like, yo, you know, we have nobody after the Rude Awakening show, after Bulldog. There's nobody on. Why don't you come in? I was like, all right. So I came in. At the time, the program director was Christina, operations manager, did a little tape, did a little thing, and basically, long story short, January 1999, the first Monday in January 1999 is when I started my show.
All right, dope. Yeah. Now you're sort of like I would at least consider you as a hip hop guru in the state of the history of hip hop. So I think you're on good authority to give me an opinion on some of the young cats doing hip hop here in St. Martin. Like, what do you think about
It's come a long way. I have to admit, it's come a long way. I remember you mentioned Outkast. Outkast had a show on Laser 101 called Keeping It Real. And what he did was he would always show or play local artist music. Big ups to him. But me coming from the States, and I'm a big hip hop head, some of that music was like, some of the artists who perform it, like you hear some of the songs, you're like, what is this? Now, I mean, I'm a big critic. I'm a critic, so I was always a critic, and you know, it has evolved from then. It has evolved. And me being operations manager, program director of Laser 101, I was always, and some people used to take this, artists used to take it the wrong way, but I was always picky about putting local music on, because to me, it really wasn't up to par. Like, you know, some, you know, the beats, the lyrics, or oh, it's not clean. So I would always be picky about that. Oh, Laser doesn't want to play locals. But the thing I was trying to do was trying to get them to a certain level.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like if you're not a good DJ, oh, you can't really do it, but go back and practice
Like,
and
just set a standard that's
right.
acceptable.
And now when I look at it today, I don't want to pat myself on the back, but I hear some of these artists today that are doing music and it's like, wow.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I'm like, sometimes like, you know, Super Kid will bring me a song. I'm like, this is local? I was like, wow. Yeah,
Come a long way.
Yeah, so we got some really good music and it definitely has come a long way, for real. Yeah.
Yeah, G, so far, man, I've thoroughly enjoyed the interview so far. Now, so my last question is what I usually ask. What does G Money do besides radio for fun, you know? Who is G Money?
At this time, I like to stay home and relax. The AC, the alcohol, the food, it's all for free at home. No, but I mean, I'm the type of guy I like to go out, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I'm not the party animal as I used to be. If I have to go out and MC, I love to do, like what I do now, I don't really do a lot of clubs. I do a lot of corporate events, like some of the banks, like Windward Island Bank and some of the big foundations, Pineapple Awards, I host those. Right. And I really enjoy getting to host it because I have an older audience and I'm the MC, Master Mr. Maurice, so I do my own opening monologue. I write my own opening monologue. I know I get the program of the show, so I like to do stuff like that. But home, relaxing, watching Netflix, watching Prime, open up a bottle of wine, sit, watch some TV, and just enjoy. I got my daughters and enjoying life, you know.
Good, man.
Yeah.
I respect it, and seems we're at the end of the boardwalk.
That means it's the end of the interview? Because we get to the end of the boardwalk?
They ask you how you are, and you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
Just kidding, man.
Hey, thank you so much.
Hey, it's been a pleasure, bro.
And tune in for the next episode, guys.
Peace out, y'all. Shout out to everybody. SXM, it's your boy, G Money. You know how we do. It's the mic promoter. Never get the girls with the underarm odor.